meal, and as you're walking to the table, the restaurant host will lead, but the person right behind the restaurant host should be the guest. Because the guest, when they arrive at the table with you, they're going to be offered the best seat. So the best seat is typically where the restaurant host is going to guide you, maybe even pull up the chair slightly, but you want your guest to always have the best seat. So I'm following you. And it makes no difference about gender. So when you think about some of the etiquette, you might think, well, what is appropriate male versus female? Think more business etiquette because that's going to be what you encounter most frequently. All right, now you've arrived at this lovely setting, and of course you arrived on time. And so as you've arrived at the restaurant, you're about to sit down. You also have pre-told the person who invited you to the restaurant if you had any dietary restrictions. Therefore, that was already something addressed and taken care of before the restaurant maybe was even chosen by the person who invited you. Because I certainly am not going to take someone who's allergic to seafood or allergic to shrimp even. I'm not going to take them to a restaurant that's primarily a seafood restaurant. So if you do have dietary restrictions, it's nice to let that know when you've been offered the invitation, thank them, but also let them know that in advance. It makes everything a lot more comfortable. All right, now, as we approach the table, we're about to sit down, I have to consider two things. I have my handbag. All right, should I just strap this across the back of the chair? There it is, hanging out. It's a total obstacle, and now the server is going to have to dodge that, but a lot of women do put their handbags on the back of a chair. No, you don't do that. What you're going to do is, as you are seating yourself, you're going to enter the chair from the right side of the chair, and then when you sit down, any item you're carrying, maybe you have something, not just the women, but the gentlemen as well, you put it on the floor on the right side, so only you have to worry about stepping over your own items. So you're thinking about others. And really, the way that I teach etiquette in general, it starts with being kind, being thoughtful, and thinking about anyone else who's going to be in your presence. So in other words, it's not all about you. All right, we're going to be talking about that bread in just a moment. Okay, so now I'm seated. And I'm thinking, okay, they've given me the menu. Do I look at the menu first? No. Even as they hand you the menu, you put the napkin on your lap before you do anything, before you pick up a beverage, before you do anything. So as we open these napkins, and they had a beautiful table display here for you today, the way the napkins folded. And so you see how easy this is? It is going to be in a trifold, and it goes right on your lap, not completely unfolded. You're still going to leave it in at least a third. Even if you want to, you can flip it to a half, put it on your lap. I prefer the fold next to my body, but you can also, it's correct, you can also have it with the open end as well. So wherever you are most comfortable, open-ended or fold, the napkin is going to be in at least a half. Sometimes napkins are in a triangular shape. That's fine. It still is the half. So the napkin is never going to be completely unfolded. You wouldn't do this, but I know Christopher wouldn't.
Maybe.
For the gentlemen in the room, you're not going to take your ties and rearrange them or toss them over your shoulder. So you're not going to want to do any of that or stuff your tie inside your shirt. Nor are you going to do this, and I see people do this. They tuck the napkin into a shirt or a blouse collar because they don't want to ruin their clothing. Well, that says to everyone watching you eat, you must struggle a lot getting food to your mouth. So really, don't do that either. The napkin should stay on your lap. Just that simple. Now, the napkin sometimes misbehaves at the table, or the person with the napkin, I should say, is the one misbehaving. This napkin is not a trash receptacle. So if you take a bite of food that you don't care for, you don't spit anything into it. If you feel that, oh no, I have a little bit of an allergy, maybe I feel maybe a nose dribble coming, you don't ever bring a napkin close to the nose at all. If I felt a little dribble, I could take with a handkerchief or a tissue and do that, but if I have to blow my nose, I have to leave the table. No one wants me there. And then also, the napkin is not a trash receptacle. You're not going to dip this, or it's not a cleanup item. You're not going to dip this into your water because you spilled something on yourself. You don't do laundry at the table. So if you do splash something on your clothing, what do? You go to the washroom. That's where you tidy up. So those are some of the basics on the napkin, with one more. If you are excusing yourself to go to the washroom or to make a cell phone call, you place this over the back of the chair. This is the signal to the server, I'm coming back. So please don't take my plate of food. And that's where it goes, right there. Not on the seat of the chair, over the back of the chair. When I put this napkin in a finished position on the table, that is only at the end and only after the check has been paid. So as long as you're having any beverage, the napkin is on the lap. So the purpose is to block the mouth before you drink. That's the main purpose of the napkin. The other is to signal the server. Because if I have some delicious breadcrumbs on my face, I want to blot those off before I have a beverage, because I don't want things floating in my glass. Just that simple, see? And I bet you've seen people abuse the napkin. So let's think about stop doing that. And I believe we have some people to join us to tell us a little bit about what we can expect today.
Sure. How are you? Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Executive Chef Butch Legend for Four Queens Bennington Park. And then we have our room chef, Ryan Bronson from Hugo's, and Chef Ivan, also from Four Queens. And they're going to be preparing your delicious lunch today. So I just wanted to introduce you. I know these folks have known Ivan and Ryan. Ryan's second year. So, but if you guys have any questions or anything, as Ryan comes out and introduces the dishes to each time, don't be afraid to ask any questions. Okay? All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And you are going to love this meal.
So good to see you.
Always.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Salvador. This is my partner, Lawrence. We're going to be assisting you today. What we did, we served you some bread, some sourdough bread with some butter, and next to it we have some sea salt. And the red one is a Hawaiian bread. We have the white one, which is a molten sea salt, and we have a hickory, like a smoky flavored sea salt. Those are really good to put on your bread and butter and your entrees, just to enhance the flavors of your food as well. Okay? If you need anything, please let us know.
Thank you.
And I want everyone to enjoy the meal. So don't feel like this is not the time where we're evaluating you. There is no quiz. You will never get to eat so well, but on top of that, it's because they try out new dishes for us. So I'll come back here and they're like, oh no, that's not on the menu actually. So we want you to enjoy every bite. So don't feel like you have to be proper or anything like that. Really enjoy it. Is there anything you can say about the restaurant or anything?
No,
about
just
the
so you
meal?
know, I mean, Ryan and his team they want to try new stuff with you guys and have fun, enjoy it. Like Melissa said, everybody's welcome here. Just relax and just have fun. And learn from Deborah and all of us. So just enjoy. Welcome.
Thank you. And yes, the objective is to, as you're learning, you want to enjoy. And here's a little fun statistic. If you are having a good time, you'll have a higher level of retention of what you're learning. So you do want to enjoy it. Therefore, please laugh at my jokes. So I do try to keep it fun, light, and make sure that you are enjoying yourself, because the food is just so fabulous. But now, the conundrum with the breadboard. This is always a challenge. Okay, who picks it up? Who starts? Well, if there is a specific host, the host is going to do that. And normally they pass it to, thank you, they're going to pass it to someone to their right, let them serve themselves first, and then they can take theirs at the end. If it's a large party, normally the host is served nothing until the very end. But take your cues from whoever is guiding you and invited you to that particular lunch. With this particular board, and I'm just going to put this in front of me just to give you a quick little indicator. Now, if I put my hand on this, you don't know how recently I washed my hands. And so that automatically creates a little bit of a concern. So what you can do is take your napkin and put that there so that what you're cutting, your hand is not actually touching the bread. Now the other thing that you will notice in front of you, you have to your left. Bread and butter plates are always to your left. Beverage glasses are always to your right. And you're really fortunate today because bread and butter plates are slowly disappearing. And the bread and butter knife, oh my gosh, I just believe most people have retired it, and it really has its own singular purpose that we really need. You're going to, when you take your little piece of bread, you are then going to help yourself to whatever amount of butter you're going to want for maybe a second piece of bread as well. So if you decide to have more bread later, you're not going to want to ever put a used piece of utensils back into an already used portion of this, because people are very funny and very finicky about double dipping. So that's how you're going to start with the bread and butter. Typically you pass items to the right. In a table setting like this, it's just going to be probably more broken up into quads because we have the 4 different services. And then start also that little extra seasoning. Pass that along too. And let's just say, I'll demonstrate with Melissa right now. She's giving me this. I think, oh, this is wonderful. Thank you, I'll pass on that. So I could continue passing it to the next person if I don't want any. But don't just leave it sitting there, because the person to your left may be hoping that you're going to pass it and you're not because you don't want it. Doesn't mean they don't want it. So definitely assist others who are seated close to you at the table as well. But who wouldn't want to try all of these items, right?
You try all of them.
Yes. So, and by the way, I will be talking a lot, which means I will be eating very little, because talking with food in your mouth, it's frowned on. So I'm not going to be doing that. So please go ahead. Now choose who's going to be starting that bread around to your particular group of 4 seated closest to you. So pick it up and go ahead, because this bread is going to be too good to waste.
Oh, Henry, it should be you because it's in front of you.
It's right in
You don't
front
want to
of you.
reach over someone. But also, just to let you all know that everyone's going to do a post on this for social media. So remember something that really sticks out to
Go
you.
ahead and take something off first.
And then
Do
with
you
the,
want bread?
with the salt, if you want to try all 3, would you put all 3 on your plate at first?
Yes. Yes. If you're going to try like a little sample of each salt, then make sure you put your little sample on your plate, because you won't be going back for that again either. The salt, you have a little bit more leeway because of the fact that that's going to be a community spoon that everyone gets to use. And yes, this is a great bread to practice with because it can be a little bit crumbly. And a lot of people wonder, oh no, now what do I do if I get a little crumb on the tablecloth? Am I supposed to clean up after myself? How do I manage that? And don't worry about it. Do not fuss about that, because that is expected with this kind of bread. And it is definitely easier to have the breadboard on the table when you do any cutting. Don't try to pull it off if you're holding the board up in the air. Now let's say that you're gluten-free. You don't have to tell the entire table, I can't eat that because of X, Y, and Z. All you have to say is, oh, no thank you, or I think I'll pass on that. That's all you have to say. You don't have to go into anything extra. And because there are just so many dietary restrictions and things that people do have to be very careful with. I know I have that in my family as well. And there are certain allergies that cannot be ignored. Also, if you are with someone who is vegan or vegetarian, unless you ask them, they're not going to really talk about it. They might just say, no, I won't have that. I am vegan, or I'm going to pass on that I'm vegetarian. Do not ask them, well, when did you become vegan? What made you become a vegetarian? I have heard so many stories when people make that awkward moment happen when they ask questions that really are none of their business. So there are a lot of different stories about why people choose to be vegetarian or vegan. And how many helpings of that bread can you have? 2. I know you're thinking, that's all? But typically, no more than 2 pieces of bread. And if, as your years progress in front of you, and you might have a cocktail, they also count the number of cocktails you have. And typically, when you are of age and you're in those situations, no more than 2 alcoholic beverages. So, and people do count. They're not letting you know they're counting, but they're counting.
You know this.
All right, and how to eat the bread. The correct way to eat the bread, and I want everyone to get theirs, and I know some people are already enjoying it. The correct way to eat any type of roll, think bite-sized. So regardless of the size of the bread, you break it in half with your hands. You do not cut it with a knife. So no, not the butter knife. That butter knife does not cut. So you break it in half with your hands, and then off of one half, you tear off a manageable bite-sized piece. That is what you're going to be buttering. Some people butter an entire roll and then sit there just gnawing on it throughout the entire meal.
May I just ask does anyone have any questions? Because this was very eye-opening to me the first time. Also, I know that this is very crumbly. You don't pick up you don't need to worry about the crumbs. They'll take care of it in a nice restaurant like this. Also do you know it's BMW bread meal water, which sometimes when you're sitting in a circular table, you don't know which one is yours and someone picks up your glass and everything else. It's BMW. So it's an easy way to remember it.
Absolutely. So think of starting from the outside in. You never have to worry which fork to use or which knife to use, because it's a process of elimination when you look at it that way. And the BMW bread meal water. Thank you.
If you have any questions, ask. Please do. We want you
Yes.
very comfortable.
When it comes to drinks, if you're like one of the first to arrive, should you wait for everyone before like ordering a separate drink or drinking your own drink, or is it just okay to order a Coke and start drinking?
If you are being hosted, it's always best to wait.
Okay.
If you're with friends, family, there are going to be some exceptions that would be more casual. But when you are being hosted, think, I don't want to make any assumptions, even where to sit. I want to make sure that I'm doing what is comfortable for the host and perhaps how the host has planned certain things. Because if it's a group, sometimes hosts even plan who they want to sit next to whom. That can also take place. Now, water is fine. So if water is in front of you, it is perfectly fine to have water. Just don't order a beverage until the host arrives or until the host is ordered. Typically, the host is the first one to make the comments and get everyone comfortable, but they are the last ones to be served. So normally, if there's a pre-arrangement, you'll notice the host waits until everyone else has been served. But when do you start to eat? So just jumping ahead to, let's say, our main entree had been served, or maybe just the appetizer. You do wait until everyone has been served, whatever their individual item is, before you start to eat. Even if it's in front of you, your portion, your item you've ordered, you do not start to eat until everyone has been served. Now, I'm saying something that some people might tell you is contradictory to that, because there's this new fad that, if there are 4 people who've been served, go ahead and eat. Or if there are 6 people who've been served, go ahead and eat. I just say, why? What's the rush? Just wait until everyone has their food in front of them. All right, now, here's the menu. So I'm going to walk you through the process of ordering. So we're going to talk about, you've been seated, your napkin's on your lap. You probably have placed your beverage orders. And it is perfectly fine to order something more than water. To order an iced tea, that's absolutely fine. Now, as you're looking at the menu, your host may tell you nothing. They've invited you to this interview meal, perhaps, but they're not saying anything. They just look at the menu as you're looking at the menu. You may have to ask questions. So you could speak up and you could say, oh my goodness, everything looks so good. Is there anything that you recommend? So go ahead and ask them a question. Or, what are you going to have today? Because what you want to find out is portion size more than anything. And then price point, never go for the highest price, but you don't have to go for the cheapest. But portion size is something I focus on because if someone orders a larger item, maybe with extra sides to it, then you know that's going to be a bit longer meal compared to someone who only orders soup and salad. And so just kind of getting a feel for that. Now, if I'm the host, I try to say to my guest in advance, oh, I recommend this, I recommend that, and then I do one more thing extra. I give you a hint, and I tell you without telling you what I'm going to order. I say, oh, those crab cakes. I think I just may have to give in to those today. So I've already told you that's most likely what I'm going to order, so now you know portion size, and you also know, oh, okay, Deborah's going for the $30 crab cakes. So now you know that as well. Because when the server comes over, who places their order first? You do. And this is why you need to know these things in advance so that you don't feel you've made any missteps. And so now, as the server comes over, I will sometimes, if I think the server is not sure, I will say to the server, my guest is going to order first. Or please, and I defer with just a hand wave to my guest so that the server gets the hint. I'm the one in charge. I'm trying to preset that up, that I will also be the one to receive the check at the end. All right, so now, server comes over, you place your order. Maybe in advance, as a host, I have ordered an appetizer for the table if we have a group. But kind of feel your way around. Are you going to order both a salad and a main entree? If they're not doing that, they may want a quicker meal. So just, again, try to read the room on that. All right, now, we've ordered our food. We have our beverages. And now we have actually our first course coming. Now you can leave your menu card right here and they'll just put your plate right on top of it.
Thank you. And I know some of you are taking notes or writing down. You can keep that on the table. You don't have to hide it.
Absolutely. Feel free to make all of your notes. Please be comfortable. And we're going to hear about this delicious item now.
Hi. So what I have for you today is a steak tartare. Typically a French-inspired dish. I did make a couple spins on it, so I hope you enjoy it. Bright colors, raw steak, caviar. What you have is a watermelon tartare, more with an Asian theme to keep it a little bit flavorful for you. So I hope you enjoy.
Thank you so much, Chef.
Thank you.
Who here has tried this before? I'm excited.
Well, isn't this a beautiful presentation? Now, as Melissa said, feel free to take photos today, but you would not whip out your phone during an interview and go, oh, this is so pretty, I need to take a shot of this.
At
I
any
would've
HCF
remembered.
event with your mentors or anyone else, you're more than welcome to. Not an interview, of course, but with us, we want you to experience food. Your board members and your mentors want you to experience it, so feel free to do that with anything with us.
And this is memorable, isn't it? I love the fact that he also mentioned the bright colors. And this just looks like summer, doesn't it? And with the little bear, with the caviar and the little extra sprig of maybe parsley. And so as you look at all of this, it's just yummy, too delicious, almost you don't want to cut into it. It looks like, oh, I don't want to ruin it, it's so special. Now again, please go ahead. So I will pick up my fork as though I'm going to be eating it. And by the way, I am left-handed. Therefore, you will sometimes see my utensils in the opposite hand if you are a right-handed person. I am now going to try to demonstrate as a right-handed person. The way you hold your fork, you put your pointer finger at the base, turn the tines downward, and then as you cut, for right-handed people it's going to be in the left hand. So as you cut, the knife comes only one direction towards you. So you don't saw your food ever. Now if you're dining American zigzag, you are going to cut one bite, and then you're going to transfer the fork to your other hand, put your knife on the top of this plate, pierce, and then eat. That's American zigzag. The way that I dine is continental, so, and I'm doing this now for right-handed people, you would cut, pierce, but the knife stays in my hand. So it's cut, pierce, knife goes in or the fork goes in my mouth, tines turn downward. The knife is a great pusher. When you are dining zigzag and you put your knife down, you have probably seen people use a finger or a thumb to push food onto their fork. That is no, no, and never. Just not at all. and not even a piece of bread. So you only have your fork to use. Do you have to dine in a continental or European way, as it is called? You don't have to, no. But I will tell you it is much easier. But American Zigzag is definitely still very much alive and well. So both ways of dining are acceptable. And now I'm going to do it as a left-handed person so that you can maybe get a better picture of this. Because if I did it as a right-handed person, I would be wearing food on my clothing because I'm not ambidextrous. So see, the knife stays in my hand, never leaves my hand.
Use the knife to sort of push it on if you need to.
And Deborah, how about the bread?
Yeah,
You don't want this whole big little piece of bread. Can you pick it up with fingers? Or?
And often things are based on texture. For instance, a wiggly piece of bacon, you cut it. A crisp piece of bacon is a finger food. So if this is more of a crisp item, it is perfect as an item you pick up with your fingers. And for some people, you might see them actually put some of the food onto the bread. So you'll see some do this as kind of like a little crostini type item. And so both of those things are absolutely acceptable. Just to take a bite of the bread or maybe to even put some of the steak tartare on it. That's what it was designed for.
Does everybody know what caviar is? Yeah.
Does anyone not?
Why don't you tell us a little bit about caviar, Ken?
I'm not an expert, just know it's fish eggs. No.
I bet you know more than that.
I'll make sure, so they know.
Right, because the way this is displayed, I believe my eyes are working fine, but I'm looking at it thinking, ooh, is that a black raspberry? A teeny tiny black raspberry, which I dearly love. And so, fortunately, we had the notice of what this was, so we were informed what we're having, so we know. Often when things are presented to you, you might not know. But if it is on your plate, it is edible, which means you'll see certain flowers, even the little sprigs of what I have called parsley, and I hope I'm saying the right thing on that it's all going to be perfectly fine for you to eat. Do you have to finish this completely? You do not. And do you want to make commentary on it to people around you? Do not. Don't say things such as, well, I certainly am not in the world of caviar, or I wouldn't be buying caviar, or who eats fish eggs. Keep any negative commentary to yourself. It can be in your head, just don't have it tumble out of your mouth, because there's going to be someone who's loving every bite of it, and if you're making kind of a less than positive comment, that kind of sets a different tone. Now, when you are finished, think of your plate as a clock, and you're going to do this with anything, a larger plate, smaller plate, however items are served to you. You think of your plate as a clock. You're going to place your silverware, the handles on the 5, and the tips of your silverware heading toward the 10. So 10 till 5. So this tells, as you can probably see, this tells my server, Deborah's not eating everything, but she's finished. They don't even have to ask me. They know that this is in a finished position. As long as you are still enjoying it, your silverware can be off to the side a bit, on the side of your plates. That tells the server, I'm resting, maybe I'm having a conversation. And when you're having a conversation, you don't want to wave your silverware around, because it could look like you're going to be harpooning someone close to you with your fork. So try to keep it, again, when you're having a conversation, put your silverware down. I think you're about to get harpooned.
Oh, I didn't see that. Oh, I tell you.
Now, what do you do with your hands? Above the table. And so, as long as your hands are above the table, and I know a lot of people have hands below the table, and I'm not going to say it's a horrible faux pas, but for someone who's really noticing every aspect of etiquette at the table, especially with international people, they will notice that. Americans are the only ones who put hands below the table. Other cultures do not typically. Unless you're pushed back and the meal is over, some people may be more casual. But normally, you don't put your elbows on the table ever, just your forearms. And you can, just sit there with your hands like this if you're waiting in between courses, but just keep them above the table. Every etiquette tip I'm giving you today had a beginning. It became a rule or a guideline or a must-do because something happened. There was something that occurred that caused someone somewhere to say, oh no, we've got to change that. And so that's how all etiquette starts. Some of the etiquette you are actually still using today is over 1,000, 2,000, maybe 3,000 years old. And some things, frankly, we're still trying to work it out, aren't we? On what is the etiquette, frankly, on texting? What is the etiquette on understanding the use of pronouns and doing that properly and with regard and consideration for others? We're evolving, we're changing. So all you have to say to yourself is, if I make a mistake, I will apologize, not make a big deal about it, but I've learned. And you just go on from there. There is no one perfect. There are people, in fact, I even put this on some of the posts that I have on X and on LinkedIn and Facebook, etc. In fact, someone commented on my post this morning. I said, gosh, once people know that I teach dining etiquette, no one wants to sit next to me at a meal. And it's true, because they think I'm going to be sitting there and just looking at them eagle-eyed and critiquing them and judging them. No, because I am such a klutz. I guarantee you, give me enough time and I will knock over this water. Just hopefully it won't be on Christopher. It'll be on me. I have sometimes food on my clothing. I might even have food in my teeth. There is no perfect person. So think of it as it's the human-to-human connection. Just be comfortable and make less of things that perhaps you might worry about unnecessarily. So if someone is being too judgy with you, that's on them. That's not on you. They're not being kind if they're being too judgy.
Can you give us some advice for the ladies about your napkin and lipstick? That probably isn't from a restaurant side.
Ideally, and I'll give you an example actually with the tissue in my pocket. Ideally what you do, and I'm kind of Taylor Swift. I wear bold lipstick. So I always have, I probably always will. And so what I typically will try to remember to do, you just put the tissue, and you can do this in the washroom or in your car before you go in. All you do is blot. Now see, nothing came off because I've already done it. That means there will be nothing on the rim of my glass. And so now if I take my napkin and just wipe my mouth with it, oh yeah, there's going to be some red lipstick on the napkin. And no, and you don't want to see gobbledygook all around the lip of a glass either. So those are little things you could do in advance.
That's usually how I get to tell from mine.
I know, because when there's lipstick on the rim of a coffee cup, I'm the one who usually cleans it off.
Uh-oh, husband. It's time for you to excuse yourself from the table. And I do try to remember even to polish that off because, yes, that is a nightmare. It truly is, to remove that. So wasn't this absolutely delicious?
Oh my God, that's amazing. Can you also talk about how to drink from the different cups?
Yes. Let's go into all of that. Thank you, Melissa, because I'm sure some of you are wondering, how do we do this? Do we hold by the stem? Do we use a straw? What do we do? If you have any stemmed item, you hold it by the stem. 2 fingers away from you, thumb towards you. So stem glasses are always held by the stem. What you don't do is hold a glass ever by the bowl or what's called the foot. You don't do that, but you'll see people do a little bit of everything. And also, when you think about drinking from the glass, always think about bringing everything up to you rather than you going down to it. Because some people, once their food arrives, they lean into it so much, you don't see the whites of their eyes again until the meal is over. So you want to bring your food as well as your glasses up to you, not away from you. Are we having fun yet? Some of you are thinking, well, no wonder no one wants to sit next to her. All of these little things, but all of these things have a reason. Because you actually have a tendency to make more of a mess when you go down to your food rather than bringing food up to you. It is fine to use straws. Straws went out of favor, and then because of COVID, they came back with a vengeance. A lot of people want straws, absolutely, because of all of the concerns about germs, etc. Therefore, if you choose to use a straw, that is fine, but No slurping. No slurping whatsoever. Also, the lemon wedges. If you do order an iced tea with a lemon wedge, you can put that lemon into your glass, absolutely. If it's a larger lemon item, you want to pierce it to get more of the lemon flavor. And what do I do with the lemon wedge? You would put your lemon wedge on a plate, but not your bread and butter plate. If you're not going to put it in your glass, it has to go somewhere. Not on the table. Definitely not on the table. And so if I wanted to pierce my little lemon wedge to get more lemon into it, I cut my hand over it so I'm not getting Christopher's eye. So you want to make sure you do that correctly. I just avoid doing that. It's just too complicated. But just little tips to know, just in case you have the occasion to wonder what to do exactly. All right, so this was a starter for today, and I'm sure for those of you are very familiar with the whole amuse-bouche perspective on things, as well as the appetizer, and you might have one or the other or both, and this was absolutely perfect to start off the meal.
You used the word that I don't think I've heard you guys use.
Amuse-bouche is going to be, it is often on a menu, you'll see it, or the server may offer it to you. Yes, it's a French term for an appetizer. We call them more appetizers, but it can be even different than an appetizer because it is specifically designed to create saliva. It's to stimulate all of those taste buds so that you're going to enjoy your meal. My favorite amuse-bouche is ceviche, so that cured fish. So I enjoy that. And that is something you want to familiarize yourself with as many things as possible. But it's perfectly fine for you to say, I'm not familiar with that. It actually shows confidence when you admit that you don't know something. I mean, that really says a lot about you when you can just say, did not know that. I've just learned something. Thank you. I know I'm still learning. If I've stopped learning, the heart has stopped beating. I'm going to continue learning. That's how you can take more out of life every day and enjoy life more, by keeping up your learning game. All right, so now this is where, as you wait for either the first course to arrive or now the big course, what do we do? Do we just look at each other?
Yes.
And do we just twiddle our fingers? Do we tap our fingers? Do we look awkward? This is where go to any interview lunch or even with your mentors, anything where you're invited, prepared with a few topics that will be interesting, downright titillating. So you want to be someone who has something to say. You're going to avoid the obvious. I mean, there are just way too many topics we avoid, but we have to for obvious reasons. But like right now, it could be sensitive, but you could say, hey, did you watch any of the World Cup? Were you favoring Spain? I picked Spain. Just to let you know, I picked Spain. So, and nothing from the husband over there. So he did not. But again, you know, I also do my March Madness bracket every year. So what's happening timely in the world? So if it happens to be football season is about to start, you could talk to me Ohio State Buckeyes all day long, and I've got something to say. We could talk about the Raiders. We could certainly talk about the fabulous hockey team, the Golden Knights here. You need, even if you don't know a lot about the team or even about that particular sport, you need to know what is currently happening today. Who's winning, who's not winning. I mean, for you to say, oh, by the way, how did the Golden Knights do? That would show that, you know, you're not really invested, and people like to know that you're invested in this city in a variety of ways. And certainly the Golden Knights did very well this year. So know some sports. Don't assume that all men care to talk sports, but don't assume that women cannot or don't like them, because I love them and I can talk them. So this is something to be very, very ready for. Sports conversations, the weather. Are you just tired of the weather? Are you tired about hearing about the smoke? You know, everything imaginable. I learned from your newscasters as soon as I arrived here, oh, you're now having humidity here, where you didn't have that for a while. Weather is not what I would say a great topic, but it has become more of a topic because there's always something going on with the weather. But how can you talk about things that show I'm invested in my job, I'm invested in this interview, I'm invested in what's going on. How current are you in what's going on with maybe local things that are occurring, what's new that's happening in Las Vegas, but any property that you represent now, if you're working in your jobs, wherever you work, you should be able to talk about that property, their culture, their world thoroughly, because people will expect you to know. And you also need to be prepared to give your own quick little introduction when you're meeting people for the first time. So I'm going to tell you about this because you're going to practice this in a little bit. You want to be able to give a 10-second self-introduction. And you probably have heard of the 30-second elevator speech. That's the longer one that frankly, that's so yesterday. You really want to be more current. And so we're going to talk about how to give a 10-second presentation of yourself without it sounding like your bio. And I'll give you a demonstration after we have this next course delivered, which you can see right here on your menu. It's going to be a yummy one of my favorites for summer.
Hi. So what I have now is a caprese salad. I try to keep it light and simple because some of the other dishes are a little bit more out there. So hope you enjoy. If you have never had a caprese salad before, it is an Italian dish. I try to keep it more along French, but you know, it's hard to get a salad out here. So I hope you enjoy.
Oh, it's fabulous. Thank you. You've made my day. This is one of my favorite salads too. And this is just a yummy, yummy looking salad. And obviously some of the pieces will need to be cut. So some salads are strictly all you would need is your fork, but with your cheese and with the tomato, obviously you need to make those in manageable bite-sized pieces. Please, yes. Thank you. Good, thank you. Yes.
Is there specifics on the fork? Yes. Like the smaller fork versus the bigger
Yes,
fork?
you're going to start from the outside in, and so the smaller fork, yes, will be the one you use. Now here's the origin of the salad fork. I'm feeling the tines of the fork. The original salad fork had very specific, very sharp, pointy tines, so that you would never need to use any other piece of silverware to pick it up. Now you are fortunate to even get a salad fork, because a lot of restaurants, they give you two of the dinner forks, but sometimes what they do is they just stagger them at the place setting to let you know one's for your salad and one's for your main entree. But the furthest one out is going to be the first one you use.
We've got 7 forks.
Yes.
Work your way in.
Work your way in. All right, so please enjoy this, and this would be where, do keep this in mind, a lot of restaurants, after you have the salad course, before the main entree arrives, the bread might be removed. I'm not going to say that's the case today, because sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't, but if you were wanting another piece of bread or maybe some of that wonderful salt, this is the time to grab it, just in case they do remove it. All right, now, onto your 10-second self-introduction. I'll give you mine, and that way you'll hear what I'm looking for, and you're going to practice this after you finish your salads, or even during your salads if you want to start early. But we want to practice this where each of you give your 10-second introduction to another person, and you get a feel for how it should flow. Again, it's not a bio. So what could you say that you know other people aren't saying? What's going to be something that makes you stand out, that would make you go, oh, I want to know more about this person, or this person, wow, I can tell they have a really optimistic attitude, or gosh, I'm really connecting with this person. Just so less is more in this situation. So here is my 10-second self-introduction. And it happens, I'm maybe at a convention, a trade show, or I'm meeting clients for the first time, and people will say, Deborah, can you tell me more about what you do? What is it exactly? And so here, you can count me down 10 seconds. Oh, I teach soft skills to help make people strong. because life is entirely too short to not know what to do. That's my 10-second self-introduction. That's it. So I'm like, oh, I teach soft skills to help make people strong because life's entirely too short to not know what to do. Now, do you know what's going to happen next? They're going to look at me, and this is always the case. Well, what are soft skills? Can you tell me what are soft skills? Oh, they're people skills. And sometimes they'll say, can you give me an example? Listening, collaboration, being assertive, presentation skills, dining etiquette. Oh, well, how long have you been doing this, Deborah? Over 30 years. Oh my gosh, Deborah. And sometimes they'll say, are you ever going to retire? And my answer is nope. As long as there's a need, I'll be out there, walker and all. I'm still coming. And then sometimes they'll say, oh, well, who are some of your clients? And then I really get to strut a little bit because I like people to know, oh, I train for this property and that property, and I train for this company and that company. Because I want them to know whether I'm talking about I train at the Cleveland Clinic, well, that's obviously healthcare, but I also train for Nationwide Insurance. I also train for Honda. I also train for AT&T, Coca-Cola. And so you want people to know a little bit about your diversity. So this is where, as I kind of set you up earlier and had you introduce yourselves to me and chat with each other, I want to hear how you talked about what you're doing, what your plans are. When I said, tell me a little bit about yourself, that is a common thing people are going to say to you in mixing and mingling moments. Tell me a little bit. So a little bit does not mean you're going to go very long. Start small and then let your introduction grow. But give them something in your intro where they can question you, like, ooh, I want to know more. All right? So now if you want to start practicing it, or if you want to think about it in your head for a moment, or ask me any questions.
Who wants to try it? Jade.
I actually have a question.
Okay.
So for this, are we thinking like for our age, are we trying to say something specific to like school, or maybe like our job that we're working in if we have a job, or are we trying to do something that's more general about us, or does it just depend on the situation, like who I'm talking with, who I'm sitting down with?
Exactly.
Okay.
You will modify a little bit based upon who is your audience. Yes.
That's a good question.
Very good question.
So even with when you're going to events, this is very bit different. If they know you are at HCF and they know you're a student, you have your things on there. You don't have to start from square one. Oh, I'm a student with Hospitality Charitable Foundation. Well, if you're at the event and sometimes your picture's in the middle of the table, you would step into the next step. But we are going to work on that a lot because as you walk around menus, you walk around with your mentor and they're going to introduce you to a lot of people. So these skills, these communication skills that Deborah's talking about, there's nothing worse than somebody who the conversation keeps sort of falling flat. So you are the ones who are actually broaching a lot of the conversation. You're the host of the event, so you're trying to make other people feel comfortable as well. And so that's why you have to lead the conversation.
Right. And to have something in the back of your mind that if it does become, just as Melissa mentioned, like all of a sudden it's quiet, nothing else is being said. Maybe they're not asking you questions. What could you then bring up? You could say, well, are you as excited as I'm hearing people are about the baseball team coming here? And I was hoping it was going to be here sooner, but it's not going to be here until 28. I mean, have something fun that says you know what's going on, something interesting, something light. Or maybe it's about where they work. Oh, I've heard that this or this. That maybe, for instance, I'm training over at Fontainebleau this week, and I'm seeing that Mark Anthony is going to be coming there. And I'm thinking, all right, I mean, they're really pumping that up. It's going to be a big, big deal. It's January. They're promoting it now, so those tickets must go fast. And so I could say, oh, goodness, I've never heard Mark Anthony in concert before. Are you a fan of his music? Have you been to any of his concerts? Did you know he's married to Jennifer Lopez and they had twins? No, you don't do all that. But it's just nice to show that you know something about what's going on.
And at any of our HCF events, there's a lot of great food, especially at menus. We have 25 restaurants out there, so that's a really easy topic to just talk about and ask that hopefully you'll feel comfortable with as this day progresses.
And people love to talk about themselves. You'll never go wrong by asking questions that would appeal to them. Well, but also try to make them where they cannot be answered with a yes or a no. What are your vacation plans this summer, or perhaps over the holidays? Because a lot of people take vacations in December. August, December seems to be the big time. So, and I already know a little bit about what I'm envious of where Ken is going shortly.
It's always summer. Where are you going next?
Greece.
Greece. Yes.
It's my dream.
Yes, I have not been there, so I could say if I know. Ken, I have not been to Greece, so I'm going to be hitting you up when you get home. I want to hear some things and what are your recommendations. So make it about them. But even though I'm saying this, it needs to be about them. It has to be sincere. There is nothing worse than buttering someone up and you are as artificial as fake butter. Do not do that. You want to be the real deal. So I suggest right now you can practice with each other, the people seated next to you. Would that be comfortable?
I would love that.
All right. So go ahead, just practice with each other. Decide who's going to go first, and just introduce yourselves.
Introduce yourself. There's no law
I mean, invite only for the people.
Really?
You can't just walk in and go see the facility. I showed you pictures of all the.
Really?
I'll do it.
Yeah, okay, I want to see some.
I guess we can do it here again.
I don't have any pictures that I can talk about. Maybe you can bring something up.
No, I took actually about 3 months off. My mother passed away, so it was. Oh no, we still have her twin. She has identical twin.
Well, that's
99 years old. Yes. And so yes, even though she passed away, we still have the twin who. My mother had every health issue imaginable, but still managed to get to 99. Her twin, 0 health issues. We're taking her shopping with the twin. And so, just about an hour and a half away. And so, because we had to do all the house stuff and so forth, because my dad passed away years ago. But it was one of those things where I just said, okay, I have fabulous colleagues who are willing to back things off and be able to do that. So I just took off just 3 weeks. This is my first trip back out here since April. I was here in April and she passed in May, early May. So we were taking care of her. We decided no nursing. We lived with my sister for a while. And we took
yeah, it's a really big decision.
But we had the hospice nurses, and I will tell you, in no regard for hospice nurses.
Oh no, we don't have. We should make it good.
I
was trying to talk him through. It's like event planning.
What they
talk
do.
about, like
The
event planning,
compassion.
Sugo, maybe reference something.
I have a lot of.
So you can talk about.
I was actually
I was just gonna reference like my job experience.
with like an interest of mine in helping those who are still
That means
I always
what
thought
is
it was
the
here
one
that
like
something in hospice or senior care.
Right.
But like, there's not a lot of people that support us and like you.
We actually had 24-hour service. They were with us 24 hours. Uh-huh.
That's never happened.
Not they're the only ones in
what's the average
my
age
hometown
here?
city where my mother was.
Like
They
18,
had
17,
24-hour in-home
19.
because we were
Sure,
here
17, 19.
You guys are
medication. Well, they and if they were there, we would have to. That's quite
It really is. When we had my brother, we were
Do you live
there,
in
but
Richard?
to have my mom come in because it was
Well, I heard you guys mentioning college, so I
way over
assumed,
my skill set.
you know, you gotta be at least 18 to use that. There is 18.
Yeah, I'm still 17.
Oh yeah, she's 17, he's 17.
Are you
Both
Very
17.
lucky.
No, I graduated.
You know,
So there's no one in here that's actually in high school.
No, we all
You've
graduated.
experienced up close and personal. Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, only respect for the nurses there, the sister care, since he was in the hospital for so long.
Yeah.
I didn't have that strength, I would say, to do it.
And all of you have grown up here in Vegas.
I have
Willingly, but my sister like get by every
California,
kind of
right?
food,
Right?
amenity, and they don't even expect that they come with their own water.
I grew up in New
And
York.
we're trying,
Oh, New
yes,
York.
they come with their own
Yes,
water, their own,
yes.
they're like self-contained.
Did you come
And we're
here
trying to
to go to school in
and they would
hospitality,
take
or you
it
just
when we
happened
would beg.
somebody moved
Because
here?
we were so
Yeah,
much.
I was raised in New
They're
York.
not
growing up,
accustomed,
and
I guess, to
came
doing
here.
that.
We're at New York.
I was located in
And so
Queens.
we kind of spoiled them a bit, but we wanted to. They deserved it. Absolutely. So.
My brother is 6'4", and they would have to even physically support him and help him with his little things for lifting him out of the bed and strength inside and out. Just incredible.
Well, thank you. It was, I managed to get the ICU people out before she passed because she really wanted to see it. And then I got even the travel agent prepared hands before. So she got to read both of them because she had quite an opinion. Because I've been telling her for years I was going to publish everything. I just haven't taken the time to do it. So
Did you learn from her? Or was it something you learned from
Oh,
her?
separately. Some of it on the ICU people, yes. But we didn't travel as a family. She was incredibly proud. She actually was giving me ideas. You should put this. She definitely has opinions on things.
My mom does as well. Well, when I told her I was taking the etiquette class and that I was learning not to butter bread, she's like, I don't want you to better than that. I was like, oh, sorry, Mama. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. But my mom's very proud person. Not my fault.
Well, and so much of it has to do with how people are brought up, their life exposures, and not everyone has the same.
I'll just sit down with all the people.
And a lot of people falsely assume that the best manners come from people of privilege. And actually, no, some of the worst manners come from the people of privilege. I find that a lot of people who grew up with the least grew up with very good manners.
And it's Friday, right?
So it's not just you can assume that because they don't have money, they still don't dine or take care, be kind.
Something like that.
I think you're very.
Are you? Are you like a big group chat with everyone? I don't know.
Because they said like when my mom is in that
Yes.
So
They're very
you'd see the difference in
very polite. Very, very different than my son. Very different.
Well, how did you do with your introductions?
Can I just say, so if you're in, I'm sorry to
Go,
interrupt,
please go ahead.
but if you're in the middle of two people, always make sure to include those around you. And that's something very much in life, but also at HCF, you know, we always say you can sit with us. So that's, you can always join, whether it's your peers, your cohort, alumni, board, but it's your job to make sure that, you know, I'm not edging Christopher out or making sure we're trying to bring people into the conversation, because there's nothing worse than you're sitting at the end and you're like, man, I wish I sat over there. Like, sorry.
No, I'm so glad you added that because that is something that you want to be conscious of. And as I highlighted earlier, if you just ask yourself, is what I'm about to do, am I being kind? If you start there, you're going to be okay because kindness absolutely resonates with people. They can feel it. And so, yes, to make sure that everyone feels included, that no one feels excluded. Now, also, in your workbook, there are a few additional things on body language and on dress, which I will talk lightly about today. You also have access to me. My email address is there. My business phone number is there as well. So I do want you to feel comfortable reaching out with questions. And a few people over the years have contacted me after this lunch with an additional question or two. So I want you to feel comfortable doing that as well. Because just like you practiced your little quick 10-second introduction, you need to do it again and again in order for it to stick. So you need to practice it and try out different types of introductions. The same thing with learning all this today. You're going to want to practice and learn. And if you have questions, just make sure you get the answers. Now look at this delicious palate cleanser, the Intermezzo.
So what I have for you here now is a honey soaked nectarine with a pistachio sorbet. A little bit of sea salt just to add a little bit extra. Okay? Do one.
How did you know pistachio is my favorite? What are you
Wild
doing
guess.
to me today?
Wow.
How do you eat the nectarine?
These
I
could
would
be.
imagine cutting it with your spoon and a little bit.
Yep.
I originally was going to try and candy it, but then I said it didn't work well last year, so
That's such fantastic. Thank you.
I was giving it a pull up. It's some of them are going to be a little bit too big to fit on the spoon. So yes, to cut it with the side of the spoon, and no one would probably fault you for using your fingers as well, because you're not going to want to pass this up.
With that said, I'm a very limited eater. So sometimes when I do go out with Ford, you get some interesting meals, some interesting concepts, start trying things out. And I usually look to my host and I'll ask them straight out. So if you don't know how to eat something, don't be afraid to ask. Because there's a lot of times where I look and I say, yeah, how?
Well, everyone's quiet, so I'd say this is a winner. Great. Wonderful.
Do you want to let everyone know who's going to be talking live?
Let me see if you can see it.
Okay.
No.
Did he pop over last year? Oh, no, sir. Yes. That's a really good question. Let's just say back in the day, you would not. You would always wait for the server to refill the beverage. You wouldn't pick up the bottle yourself. The same as if there was a bottle of wine, you wait for the server. Right now, with limited staffs and things have become more casual, you don't have to worry about it. It's perfectly fine to go ahead. But don't be surprised if the server didn't come over and do it for you.
And if you're pouring for other people, would you take their glass? Or how would you do it? Or you just avoid everything else?
You probably will let them hold their own glass, because a lot of people don't want to, again, pass their glass over, so you could pour it with them actually holding it.
Everyone knows why we're having this survey.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Why are we having this? The name kind of says it all. The intermezzo. It's our intermission. And I prefaced also palate cleanser. The idea for a palate cleanser, and palate cleansers actually can be served more than one time. It could be 3 times. And it's for different reasons. But there could be a palate cleanser at the beginning, which is also it's like a mousse bouche. It stimulates the appetite. That could be more of a grapefruit flavor or a lemon flavor. Or it can be like right now, we're having the intermezzo. Hello.
This is Mr. Terry Cottle. He owns Four Queens Minions, Lagoons Gaming, and just wanted to come and say hello to you guys.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Say welcome.
Thank
It's a pleasure to have you here, and hopefully someday we'll be looking forward to having meals like this prepared by all of you.
Thank you very much.
So, you're here to learn something about etiquette, right? Too. Well, etiquette is basically common sense, okay? And one of the biggest things about etiquette that you will learn is one of the rudest things you can do is run your mouth while people are trying to enjoy a wonderful meal. So I'm going to shut mine. I just want to say thank you, welcome. It's a wonderful career that you're going into. We get people here in our companies, they get into hospitality and you can't get rid of them anymore. I mean, it's like they love it so much. So I just want to welcome all of you, and I think you're going to be looking forward to a decent meal. Okay, hold on, you guys are the ones who got the hamburgers and the french fries. So, all right, enjoy.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Cottle.
you.
Mr. Ken here. he's been a wonderful supporter of this organization the whole time I've been down here, which has only been about 23 years. But he's the man you really need to thank for everything.
The problem is when he's anyone's mentor, everyone wants to come and work here in food and beverage. They see this and they're like, oh, he's just has the best job in the world. He turns our HR people into food and beverage folks.
Oh, I remember, I mean, I've been so educated since I got here. I didn't realize that there were 3 kinds of wine when I got here. I thought it was just red and white. And then they introduced me to pink wine. I was like, oh my gosh, so there's red, white, and pink wine. So, yeah, I've learned 2 or 3 things. I've forgotten 4 or 5 of them, though. But anyway, I don't want to run my mouth here. I've got a good stopping point. You got your dessert, and you're going to have your main course here coming. Well, it's not really dessert yet. It's your pre-dessert dessert. Okay. But good luck. It's a great occupation to get into, hospitality. And just remember, what was it? Honesty always pays. That's a different speech. Never mind. Forget that one. All right. Enjoy. Have a good day.
But you love his humor. I love how he wiggle that in. Oh my gosh, yes. And so no, I didn't see hamburgers, French fries on here.
I'd be okay with it. Yes, Jake.
I had a question about like pacing. Is there like, do you need to keep an idea of like how fast is that kind of route, or like if you get super slow, you just try to keep up with the host, or you just kind of get it done at your like what kind of stuff?
Well, and this question is just spectacular. You do want to pace yourself with kind of everyone at the table, and just look around, because if the majority of the people look like they are pretty much finished and your plate is not, then guess what? You're going to be wrapping it up pretty quickly, even if you haven't finished. It's really awkward, isn't it, to be the only one still eating at the table? Now, ideally, everyone finishes right at the same time, so the server can remove plates all at the same time. Right now, in most establishments, servers remove once they see someone's finished, they take it away, they don't wait for everyone at the table. So it's nice to pace yourself. So if you are a slow eater, that's again another reason to go with a smaller portion of food when you order, so you have less to finish. And then if you're a fast eater, you might want to slow it down, because then you're going to make other people feel awkward that they have to speed up. So leave something on your plate.
These 2 work.
Thank you.
Another good point, like Melissa just left, you told us before, you don't have to say, excuse me, I'm going to the restroom or whatever. Just put your towel, your napkin, and just kind of go and come back. You don't have to go, excuse me, to everybody so they know what you're doing. So
Exactly. So that when you exit the table, it could be you're going to the washroom, maybe you are making a phone call, but you don't have to announce it, as Ken just said. Then it becomes more awkward.
And then with that, if like I don't know where it is that something, since I wouldn't announce to the table, I would just ask like an employee I find on the way?
Yes, on the way out.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Gotcha.
That
These
makes
are all
it.
great questions.
yeah, they're really good.
Did anyone dribble pistachio on themselves?
No.
Oh, I didn't either.
Good stuff.
Oh, I see it on your tie.
Oh no.
See, no one's perfect.
See, we planned that today. Usually that would be me wearing something, so it does happen. Thank you, husband, for being so
I just wanted
for
these
being
young
so
people
human
to
today.
realize they don't have to be perfect
That's
for the
right.
rest of their life.
Maybe you should have taken your tie and thrown it over your shoulder.
Yeah, well,
Just
it has to go to dry cleaners now.
There it goes, for sure. All right, now, as you practiced your quick introductions, and we had this fabulous intermezzo, and I was describing the intermezzos, normally it is going to be served before the main course, or sometimes another one is served before dessert if the main course had a lot of flavors in it, because in some situations, if there's going to be a dessert at the end, you want to be able to taste it, and sometimes another palate cleanser comes in. So be prepared. It could be 1, 2, or 3, or just 1, or just 2, or none. And then, of course, with the dessert question, and we do have, I see dessert on here, as you are going through the meal, something to think about, I'll share this with you in advance. The interview meals, a lot of people don't like to spend a lot of time at a meal. And so during the interview, they're hoping that you don't want dessert. So at the very end, don't plan on ordering dessert. If your host asks you, would you care for any dessert? You're perfectly fine just to say, thank you, I'm going to pass on that today. If you do ask the question, well, I'm not sure, are you having anything? You're actually asking them to please have something. That's how it works. Because what you're saying, well, I don't know, are you having anything? You're essentially telling them, please have something so that I could order something. And so just think about it from that perspective. But some people like to skip the dessert because they just want to get back to the office, especially when it is more of a business lunch. It's not real over-the-top social. All right, but if you are on a diet, you never tell anyone you're on a diet. No one cares. No one cares. No one wants to know. No one wants to be bothered with it. No one wants to hear, well, I don't know, how many calories is this Neapolitan rose today? So you're ruining the whole effect. You're ruining the opportunity to enjoy, I'm sure, what's going to be a scrumptious dessert. Just, again, follow the lead of the host, but do keep this in mind. You're learning a variety of things today. I'm sure many of these things you already know. Some of the things might be brand new, but you also might have the occasion that when you're out with someone, you think, oh my goodness, they don't have good manners, and they're hosting me. Just go ahead and you still be yourself using your good manners. Often people who don't have the best manners don't realize they don't have them, so don't change just to alter good behavior to accommodate them. So in other words, if they lick their fingers, that does not mean you should lick your fingers. Ooh.
How do you guys like sorbet?
Oh, it's delicious.
So what I have for you guys coming out now is the lobster ravioli. Everything is homemade, fresh from scratch. Hope you guys enjoy. All right. Very good.
Thank you.
Yeah, once you get some coffee. And what I have for you is traditional ratatouille. Okay?
It's my favorite.
Yeah.
Traditional ratatouille is my favorite, and I once ordered it, and I thought of you because I ordered it at the mansion actually, and I didn't realize it was a giant sandwich about this big, and I was with a very large donor of ours trying to figure out how to tackle it. And I was, because everybody else had ordered little salads and things like that, and so I thought I was ordering a little ratatouille salad, and it came out this giant hunk of a meal. And even afterwards, Michael Kennedy was like, I was really shocked you ordered that. I said, well, I did get the meal.
In a good way, I hope.
What would Deborah do?
What would Deborah do? All right, are we ready? And by the way, Melissa's just mentioned an interesting thing, and please go ahead and eat while I'm talking. Things that I do recommend that you don't order would be any handheld food, like sandwiches, because that requires more attention to the food than to the conversation. So if you order knife and fork food, your focus is going to be easier, it's easier to navigate, easier to manage. You don't have food falling out. Sandwiches have a tendency to fall apart and things drip down your wrist, and they might be yummy, but save those items for when you're with friends and family who adore you, and if you make a mistake, oh well, it's not a big deal. But knife and fork food is the easiest way to go because you want the focus to be on why you're there. So keep that in mind. It's not about the food, it's about why am I here? What do I need to get out of this meeting? How do I need to present myself? And you can count on it. Someone is going to ask you a question just as you put a bite of food into your mouth. And so just as you do that, don't try to swallow too quickly. We don't want you to choke or have a coughing spell. So it's just best to continue chewing. And if I do that to someone, then I just continue talking because I see, oh, I've asked you a question at an inopportune time. Or I might even say, oh, take your time, sorry. And so just letting people know I'm not expecting them to answer me too quickly. And you don't get lobster every day. They are really giving you extra special treats today. Caviar and lobster on the same day.
Oh, it's, yeah.
Right?
The other thing I forgot is you said you before you take a sip of water to if you're having your meal to kind of wipe.
Absolutely.
Or floaties.
I don't want floaties in the glass, so definitely want to blot before drinking. Now, as we've gone through all of these wonderful courses, with the dessert course still to come, keep in mind today is extra special, but think about your manners as you could be in the most casual food court at any of the properties on the strip. You still want to use good manners. As I say, people who use a napkin at McDonald's are going to remember to use a napkin when they're in a place like this. But if people never use a napkin, then all of a sudden it's, oh, okay, now I need to do that. No, you need to be doing it all along. And by the way, napkins are they're performing a disappearing act. A lot of places are not bothering giving napkins. You have to ask for them. I don't mean restaurants, sit-down restaurants. I'm talking about even coffee stands. A lot of places just don't bother giving napkins. Every time I drive through, and I'll just say the name, Starbucks, and I just get a coffee, I have to ask for a napkin. It is not given automatically. But you always want to have a napkin, even with just a beverage. That's just, again, as the owner was mentioning just a few moments ago, common sense. Etiquette really begins with a lot of common sense. The etiquette that I mentioned to you that's 3,000 years old, or 2 years old, it is rooted in a reason why we're doing it to make our lives easier. Or for us to come across as more civilized, I guess, in some ways. So the obvious ones, you don't talk with food in your mouth. The obvious ones, you don't shovel your food. You don't lick your fingers. You don't talk about certain things at the table that will ruin someone's appetite. There are just so many things that's just common sense, isn't it? Of course it is. Common sense would be, and here's one of my favorite common sense items. When someone invites you to a meal, they are the ones who will be paying. Whoever does the inviting does the paying. So often when the check comes, and a lot of restaurants still do this, they leave the check standing up. Sometimes they put it flat, but they might leave it standing up. And I've been with many people who have invited me, and the check is just there, and it's just there, and it's just there, it's not moving. And as soon as I reach for it, oh no, Deborah, it's ours. Well, to make your guests comfortable, that should have been done as soon as the check arrives. If you're the one paying, you don't have to look at it. You claim it. All you do is claim it. So I just pull it over to my side when the check comes. That says it's my treat. And sometimes during the meal, I will actually say to my clients, oh, don't forget, this is my treat today. And so if there is any doubt, I will sometimes reference to that so that they are comfortable.
Is it okay to give your credit card to the server, just as a, I don't want any embarrassment? Because I'll do that if I invite guests and, I want a treat.
Yes.
Give it to the server and say, hey, it's on me. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You can do that. In fact, for a lot of the clients who I train for here in Las Vegas who do individual hosting, I will say to them, just make sure the check never even comes to the table. And that's the best possible way of making people feel comfortable. But often a lot of restaurants cannot accommodate that or won't accommodate it. And a lot of people worry about their credit cards now, that sort of thing. But see what you can do. Maybe it's just to tell the host as you walk in, make sure that the server knows I am the host.
And also just to remind you, with HCF, if you go out with one of us, with your mentor, we take care of your meals. That is policy with us. We don't want anyone to sit there and worry about that or who's going to pay or how that works. So don't feel like, okay, if I saw this and there were some prices on that, I would be like, oh my goodness, I'll get the intermezzo, and that's probably the extent of it. That is not the case with HCF. We want you to not worry about that while you enjoy every course of every meal, because that's one of the best parts of us. We
Yes.
eat very, very, very well. So just wanted to let you know that.
But of course, all the appropriate thank yous are important whenever you are gifted a meal like that. But don't even offer to pay for the tip. I will have some people just say, well, can I at least pay for the tip? No.
So I actually have a tipping question, and this might just be a Vegas, or it might even be for you, Ken, or maybe your servers. What is an appropriate tip if you're taking care of the meal or for a business meal?
It is changing. It's heading more toward 25%.
Yeah, 20 to 25 depending. Yeah.
Yes. So it used to be where 15 to 18%. Oh, no. Those days are gone. And so now for a nice meal, it is 20%, 25%.
Do you tip on the beverages? That
Yes.
used to be a no. If you were giving a bottle of wine or something.
Oh yeah.
You do? But you don't tip you don't have to tip on the tax, especially if it's some large meal and it included tax. Some people will only be tipping on the food and the beverages. For me, I can't be bothered with that. I'm just tipping. I'm known for over tipping, but for me, I will say in all of my years of nonstop travel, every tip that I give, which includes today before we came here, we put the money on the pillow for the housekeeper, and we do it daily because you don't have the same housekeepers every day. And we put it on the pillow, which means it's for them. If I left it on the table, they're not allowed to take it because it could be you just left some money behind, so it has to be where they know that it's for them. Or if they provide you an envelope, you can put it in the envelope. Some places do that. But many people complain about tipping, and I know there was an incident during the World Cup where, and I'm trying to think which game it was early on before it got to the finals, but because they were in New York, and some of the Europeans did not tip, and I don't know which European country it was, but because the fans who were there did not tip appropriately on a $300 bill, they left $4, which obviously that's nowhere near the right amount. But in their culture, this particular country, they don't tip, but servers are paid differently. So we're the only country that does it this way to this extent. And so in some countries, when I'm training people as far as global etiquette, in some countries, a tip is considered an insult. Because there are many, many, many countries, professional servers, they take that very, very seriously. They are professional servers, and they are earning their money and they're earning their salary. You do not tip them. So tipping is quite the issue today. People are complaining about the tipping because now the tipping is over the top. The taxi that I took to get here today, there was no option when I put the credit card in. My husband was out of the car getting all the gear ready, and so I have swiping the credit card. The lowest tip I could give was 25%.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
And it's on a screen I had never seen before. It's a new
On a
screen.
taxi.
On a taxi. Yeah. And I do always tip 20%. To the taxi drivers, so I thought that's generous because I'm interviewing taxi drivers right now for the Las Vegas book, and they often talk about how they are not tipped at all. Of course, this taxi you could not get out of the car until he let you out either. He was telling my husband because of people who try to run off without paying. So
It was locked until you pay.
well, I was held captive in the car, so Ron got out and off he went. I'm keeping your wife until you pay.
Bye.
So tipping is quite a challenge, but always ask yourself, what am I doing? How am I sharing my appreciation to them? And so there are certain things now, there are certain companies going above and beyond that if I'm having something printed at FedEx, I'm not tipping them. But now they're even going for tips. So now tipping is
Or
everywhere.
even fast food. You go get a burger, turn it around and
18%.
Exactly. Yes.
give me a burger.
And this is why a lot of people are almost to the point of that's it. I'm not tipping anywhere, anytime.
U-Haul wants a tip.
Yes, U-Haul. Yes,
Seriously?
Yeah, well, I had to get a U-Haul
for my
mom's
mother's house. Yeah.
They told me I can leave a tip, and I'm thinking, I came over here and picked it up. You're doing it. I mean, I'm tipped for food, but I'm not tipping U-Haul.
It's everywhere.
It is. And so this is going to be where you're going to have to use your own, make a judgment call on what to do or not. But when it comes to the service industry, housekeepers have one of the toughest jobs. It's very, very hard on them. It's a very physical job. And they definitely deserve their tips every nickel and dime they get.
You leave it on the pillow, but I usually leave a note, thank you, and the money on the note.
That's fine too. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, because I usually say thank you or something.
Of course you do, Ken.
I was going to say, sure, yes, he does.
I do.
Yeah, he did. I bet
Now
he
I
did.
have to
No,
start
no, I
doing
believe he
that.
does. I absolutely
I usually
believe
write
it.
I'm sorry.
For
your children.
Sorry for the children. Well, I actually have collected and kept. I haven't kept all of them, but I have kept certain notes. But I received notes from housekeepers thanking me for the tip. And that to me says, oh, wow, you're not being tipped very often. Because
Can I ask something? What level of work should you do to make sure that you're, obviously I'm not the server, or I'm not the housekeeper. What is the expectations? We all just stayed in a hotel together for the first time. Grand Sierra Resort sponsors us all to go over there. Do you, sometimes you see now people are stacking their plates or they're unmaking their beds. What is the level of expectation that you're going into in these restaurants?
most servers will say, do not stack the plates. Do not move things around because they have their system of removal. And if you start doing things, it upsets their balance and their organization. So most of that is not necessary or even wanted. And that can also be when it comes to the beds as well. Tidying up, like I put all the towels together that have been used. I keep all the trash together. I don't leave things askance ever at all. So it's organization. I don't expect them to try to have to work through my shoes. So I put them in the closet away so that they're not tripping over them. So they're just kindnesses I think about. They're going to be in here vacuuming. They're going to be in here doing X, Y, and Z. How can I make their job easier without being a problem? And then if you have any doubts about things, you can always leave them a note.
What about at more like casual restaurants where they're not taking your like dishes after every meal, where it's like towards the end, like for example, at like UJ's or something like that, where like even then you'd recommend not stacking the plates?
If there is no removal happening and you're still getting more dishes, then that's going to be one of those judgment calls where you're thinking, okay, I'm going to have to start stacking because there's no room for the next items coming, or no more places for the beverages. So yes, you could do that then. You're asking such great questions.
really good.
I really appreciate that as well. Everyone benefits from every question you ask because there's a good chance that they're thinking, oh, I wanted to know that too.
So
Now
this
I do.
technique, sorry, is known as crumbing. So picking up the crumbs after your meal. So it's called crumbing.
You might be the only one still doing that.
Probably. There's a few.
One of the few, yes.
There's a few.
Not many.
And I'll tell you, I remember Randy walked around with his crummer, and when he got a job, even though that wasn't the typical, he would do it all the time. And
2-week training on the brick.
2 weeks.
2 weeks training? Okay.
that was my favorite part.
I'm
of being
also
a
very
server.
gullible.
Yeah.
Must be some technique.
Just because they're not
I
doing it
know.
doesn't mean that you don't have to.
Right.
Well, and you will notice with our fabulous servers today, they work in and out and around us, and we just continue doing what we're doing. But they move in and around us so smoothly that they really perform a type of what's called silent service. They don't want to be interrupted at all, which is why I gave the signal that you can give with both the napkin, the placement of your silverware, all of those things. Now, do they expect you to say thank you every time they do a service at the table for you? No. But an occasional thank you, yes. Eye contact, not a bad thing. To actually look them in the eye when you say thank you. So I always notice when people invite me out, maybe they're trying to win our business in our company.
I would say thank
My
you, but
husband and I
I've said it
definitely
so much.
notice that if someone is, did I miss a joke over there?
I say thank you every time.
I do.
So I told him this time I'm not going to say thank you
Oh,
because
okay.
I've been saying it too
I
much.
figured there was some sarcasm going on over there.
I just naturally do it.
I know, but and they appreciate it. They really do.
I usually sweep up my own crumbs too.
But with the thank you thing, when the server or somebody says no problem, doesn't that get under your skin?
Yes.
Yes. It's you're welcome or
I just taught
my
that in the class
pleasure,
yesterday.
but yes.
Yes.
But no problem. It just happened to me of one of our. I was like, okay, I just lost it, because it is a problem.
Absolutely. If what you want to say is you're welcome, or certainly, or my pleasure, it's certainly something I'm happy to do for you, but make it generous and kind. Definitely the no problem. I know no problem is a verbal tick. A lot of people just say it entirely too often, like bro. And this is where there's a small segment in your etiquette book, the collegiate book, where I talk about your verbal things to be aware of. But it is very important that you know how to use professional language and avoid any kind of jargon that could cause you to come across as being disrespectful or irreverent, and that was certainly not your intention, but someone might take it that way. So definitely stop, think, and consider, oh, when you said rose, you meant rose. That is beautiful. Oh my goodness.
So what I have coming out for you now is called the Neapolitan Rose. Originally I had it designed for this secret menu for Hugo Southern. Thought, why not give you guys a try of it here? So what it is chocolate rose. Inside is filled with strawberry jam, strawberry whipped cream, and a lemon sponge cake on top of streusel and vanilla ice cream. Okay. Now, the way to eat this is to take your spoon and crack it open. It's the only way to really get into it, okay?
And thank you for sharing that.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. And I'm so glad he said that, because there are a lot of these items that you may encounter in your career lifetime, and you just wonder, okay, how do I do this? And so just, trying to do a little wiggle with it, break it off to the side, or you can go right into the middle. There you go. It's easy to do. I watched someone at an event where grand pianos were served and the lid of the piano was open. They had the white chocolate mousse on the inside. I watched people in tuxedos picking up the pianos and biting off the legs.
Don't be afraid. Go for it.
We'll just crack it.
That's you, Arturo. Go for it.
There she goes.
Harder. You gotta
I
put some muscle in it.
point your spoon down. Yeah, that's a little bit easier.
Woo!
It's delicious.
Oh yeah.
They got in.
This is very unique.
Perfectly tempered chocolate.
The chocolatier over there.
He's pretty talented chef.
I wouldn't mind if he taught me how to temper chocolate.
With the lemon sponge cake.
Then would you eat the bits?
Well, some people like to chew on it because of the refreshing flavor. I would not. I'd probably chew.
What's everyone thinking?
You're thinking, do we have any of these to go?
Two, please.
Which brings up the to-go box. See how I slipped that right in there? Is it acceptable to take to-go items at the end? I don't mean a to-go order. I meant you didn't finish your meal, so now you're going to ask for a to-go container after the meal. The guideline has always been when you're wanting to impress someone and this is an interview meal, the suggestion is no. And that's why, again, portion size is appropriate. So you don't want to overdo it. And it's better not to ask for the to-go container. Then there's the opposite thought process that because in the United States we waste more food per day than the rest of the world combined, that we should not be leaving huge portions of food behind as though we're very casual and cavalier about it. That, oh, what the heck, we'll just throw that food away. So we want to make sure we don't have that type of attitude. So when I'm with family and friends, absolutely I will do that. If I'm with a client, I make sure I only order enough that I know I can eat, because I don't want to bother with the to-go container. That's going to be one of those judgment calls you'll make when you're with other people. With the interview moment, I suggest you stay more formal. Your thoughts on that?
Absolutely, and a lot of times even with HCF, I will find that our board does not want to waste, so they will actually bring us out the to-go boxes. And so as a host, it will be implied that, yes, I want you to take that food home. So if it is there and brought to you and offered, absolutely,
Yes.
Take it, because I think a lot of us, we end up with a lot of food left over, and so everyone's pretty,
That's good to know.
we have a lot of delicious food. And after our board meetings, that's my kids and my husband wait up for me, because I always come home with some to-go boxes for them. Oh my gosh, South Point, I come home with a week's of it, and not eating meat, and I don't cook with meat very often. They just love it because I come home with, bacon wrapped scallions, and yeah, it's just incredible what they bring home. Yeah, the board's really good to us. The last thing, we're not getting a chocolate flour because I ate it.
Well, after you finish your dessert, we are going to do just a quick little body language exercise where I'd like you to shake hands with everyone. And then we'll sit back down and have our final words. And I'm going to go over a couple of things in your workbook. So we'll be happy to answer questions on additional things such as dress, such as communication, your social media, and just assume whatever you put into social media, you will be discovered.
Thank
Well,
you
please,
so much.
we need to, let's give it an appropriate
Oh,
applause.
thank you.
Did yourself.
I hope you guys enjoyed everything.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Shell.
Thank you, Chef.
Thank you.
Hopefully I see you guys next year.
Thank you. Name tags and business cards.
Yes. Do they have their cards?
You should.
Okay. All right. All right. Ooh, all right. So with the handshaking, we're also going to use the business card opportunity to talk about the etiquette with that as well. And of course with name tags. The hospitality world is distinctly different in the fact that it wears name tags on the left. You will find that no one else does that in any other profession. Everyone from bankers to anyone else who wears a name badge, they wear them on the right because it's called the sight line. And as you're shaking hands, a person can easily look at your name tag, and it also helps them remember your name. And so how would I remember a name like Jade? I would say, as I'm meeting Jade, oh, it's lovely to meet you, Jade. I would use her name not more than once. You don't want to overdo it. But then as I'm saying actually your name, I am spelling Jade, whether that's the correct spelling or not. That's how I think of Jade. So I'm spelling Jade in my head as I'm saying your name, because if my brain sees it, I'm going to remember it longer. You are going to forget names. It is not possible to remember absolutely everyone's name. And so when that happens, it's perfectly fine if you say, please excuse me. But do not say things that would be considered very inappropriate today, cliches that are offensive. Please say cliches like, I'm having a senior moment, or I'm having a blonde moment. Don't say any of those things that could be very disparaging. Always think about, how will my words land on them? Do assess your verbal presence as well. You want to develop a strong verbal presence where what you say is kind, thoughtful, diplomatic. You don't use words that would offend anyone, and you show that you are verbally responsible. That is so critical in today's environment. You know it, I know it, we all know it. We see it happen, it's in the news on a regular basis. Someone said something and they pay a price for it. because they could easily lose a position or a job, because in today's world, the attitude is, you know better. That's just not acceptable. So don't think that it is, and don't try to get by with that. So develop a strong verbal presence, but also be very aware, whatever you do in the social media world, people will discover you, they will find you, they will read about you. Never ever lie. Do not exaggerate, do not lie. It'll be uncovered. That's not going to help you. I do recommend that you have a strong LinkedIn presence and learn to interact with people on LinkedIn as well, because that is going to be a place for you to do a lot of networking. So they're bringing us a little extra special treat today, which again will be something that you won't get in many restaurants and you won't experience it that often, but we're going to talk about the towel service that sometimes is offered at the end. But if you have your business cards, you're going to practice with those as well as the handshake, and then I will talk about the body language after we sit back down. But first we'll have the towel moment before we stand up to do that. And then as far as
No.
your business card presentation, the way that you present your card, present business cards right-handed. Oh, by the way, back to the name tag. I'm not saying you should wear it on the right. I'm just telling you that everyone else does. I can't change the hospitality world, and I'm not trying to. But hospitality, the reason it started that way, just as a quick little FYI.
They're still working.
I finished, thank you. How it started had to do with the hospitality industry is primarily male. So we're going back many, 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 many years. And men with their breast pocket on their jackets, the name tags back in the day would just slip over the breast pocket. And just, it was a positioning. So it became more common sense because it was primarily men, and men could wear their name badges there more easily than having to attach it to their clothing. But then the rest of the professional world decided, oh no, we're wearing it where it makes more sense, where I can read your name and remember it a lot more easily. Based upon your hair length, based upon visibility, you're going to want to not over the shoulder, but higher up on the shoulder, like right there at the crook of your arm. So up relatively high, not low, but relatively high. And that could be again on your left side, but you want it to be more visible up rather than down.
So I would say move yours up a little bit. Would be my suggestion there.
Yes, you can move that up a little bit.
A little higher. I would move yours up just a little bit as well, because you don't want to feel like anybody's lowering their gaze as they're looking at it. You want it to be like they're looking at your eyes and you can take a quick glance as well. As a lady, you also want to make sure you're keeping your eyes.
We don't need the eyes lower with the ladies.
You can move yours up a little bit as well. Great.
All right. And then I know with my business cards, it's something that you might encounter later. I have both. I have the digital, and it taps also. So I have that, and then I also carry paper. And so, let's just say Melissa and I are meeting for the first time, and I'm going to think that she's probably a paper person because she has her paper card, and so she presented it to me the correct way, two-handed, but also I can read her name. I don't have to turn the card around. She presented it type-facing me. So I take the card from her, and this is the 1, 2, 3. As I look at it, 1, 2, 3, before I put it down. Because I need to look at it to show respect. This is Melissa. A lot of people don't even look at the cards. They just grab the card and don't even pay attention, put it down. And that is highly offensive to many, many cultures around the world. Highly offensive. All right, so then I would give Melissa my card as well, the two-handed as well. Many professions only present it right-handed without it being two-handed. Hospitality, more often than not, does it two-handed. All right, so now I would like for you, and by the way, if somebody wanted to tap me, then if somebody said, oh, Deborah, and I get this a lot, especially when I'm training on campuses. Deborah, do you have digital? Yep. In fact, I can tap. I love to tap.
Has everyone used this before?
I have never done
It's
this.
NVC built right in, so as soon as she taps, it shares her contact. Just like if you were to put your two iPhones together.
It's a great little tool.
Also, Deborah, with the cards, if you're in a meeting and you have 2 or 3 and you've just met people, you usually sit them in front of you and just well, you remember that's John, that's, just kind of look at their cards.
Yes, thank you for that too, Ken. That's a great way to remember names. You know who they are based on where you put their card on the table. That helps a great deal. All right, I'm not going to tell you how to shake hands. Oh, yes, thank you. Thank you, husband.
Well, I wasn't leading.
Yes, thank you. All right, I completely forgot that was sitting here. Yes, this is not a face cloth. This is such a nice thing at the end where you just get to just wipe your fingers. You don't need to rub and scrub and got a spot here. No, this is strictly for your fingers, for your hands. You don't even unfold it completely.
I can't use this.
You don't use that on silk. You do not use water on silk. No. So, and then you just neatly put it down. But I cannot tell you how many people I will see at a meal like, oh, isn't this nice? And they start scrubbing their mouth. And I think, wait a minute, no, you're not at home. You do not do that. All right, so, but this is going to be a nice little extra touch. There will be some restaurants where you even get this at the beginning too. So, especially different multicultural restaurants. All right, now, take a moment. You don't have to shake hands with everyone, but do this with at least 2 or 3 people. Stand up, shake hands, present your cards. Then when you're finished, I'm not going to be in the way. I'm going to sit right here. When you're finished, everyone sit down, and then I will continue.
Does everyone have business cards with them?
Good job.
Okay.
Stand up.
All right, so go ahead, stand up. You can move away from the table, too. You don't have to be at the table.
Cards.
Jay, did you bring enough?
Oh, I did. I'm a little scared. I don't know. Pass them all out. Thought they're gonna get damaged. They must stay in this nice little box. Okay. Low. Okay. And then wait. Go one at a time. I have one business card. Here's my business card. And after you're interested. Yes. Yes. Okay. I'm ready.
Hello.
How are we on time?
You're gonna pay. It's 1:45.
Okay, so they think they're going to be your...
I always say
Okay. I don't want to go over my limit. Yes. In your pocket. Yes, in your pocket's fine. When they give you their card.
Is there a specific pocket, like blazer pocket?
Side pocket.
Okay.
Well, your jacket. Your jacket side pocket.
Oh,
Jacket pocket. Not the trousers. Yes.
Or
a lot of the
inside.
times they're sewn shut.
Yeah,
So
or
is that
inside.
Yeah, you'll probably have to use the little...
Inside?
the inside one?
Inside would be fine.
Okay. So it's like, it's okay, it's okay to reach
Yes.
in. Okay.
Absolutely. You're welcome.
I have 2 questions now. As a lady, is it okay to have just a purse instead of a pocket? Because I don't think I have real pockets, or is that like a fine pocket?
If you have it in a handbag, I would still recommend actually trying to have a separate case so that you don't have to worry about it.
Okay, perfect. And then when you hand it to them, do you say anything? Do you add any comments, or is it literally just let them look and let?
When they take it from you, just let them look.
Okay, perfect. And then they just kind of put it away in their case, or you just continue the conversation after that. Okay, perfect.
Jay, they make little like business cards for you that fancy, nice, something like this. They make like metal
Right.
reflective
Very
ones
good.
that are
Okay.
great. You have options.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Let's see. We're shaking my hand. Do you have a business card?
Yeah.
Really.
Great question.
This is why when people say Gen Y, Gen Z, it's like, oh, no, no, no. Don't lock them all together.
No, you can't.
I agree with that. I agree with that. We've seen both.
Yeah.
Both ends.
But it seems really so great. good student too?
I'd say yes. And I'd say that this group is probably the most receptive. They ask a lot more questions.
They did good today more than we've had a few.
And Chris and I have been here for over 15 years. We've never had 10 students. We've brought in freshman years.
Melissa was trying to figure, so it's been 12, 13?
Melissa started in 2013. I was 2014. So
I have to say we're doing.
Just out of curiosity, you get your caviar from Louisiana?
I have no idea. We don't generally carry caviar, but Ryan just ordered it.
I was just wondering because I was looking at getting some for my daughter's wedding and she vetoed it. I guess Louisiana is really caviar industry.
I didn't know that.
Really coming up.
So generally, we don't have it on our menus, but Ryan just likes, I mean, every year they all create something new, which is fun.
Fantastic. I mean, I love the tartar.
Well, he made her tartar out of watermelon, and so the way he processed it, it's like meat, but it's watermelon. So, it was real impressive. It looked good too.
It did. Absolutely it did.
So Portuguese taste here too.
Yes, I did. It was very good. I tasted everything.
If I remember right on the menu, it had a slight, lightly charred. That was amazing.
Yeah, I like it.
So, what more do you have to do still?
I was going to do the business etiquette.
Oh, okay. I'll keep the camera running.
Yes, for a few more minutes. Oh, sorry.
Oh my god. Oh, I'm so offended.
Well, probably did we have our first course?
I realized when they were bringing bread out at the start.
They all showed up early this year, which was...
Yes. I thought we started early. I thought it was supposed to start at now.
Yeah, usually we have to wait for the stragglers. This year they all showed up. That was impressive.
I was delighted with that.
This was
Very good.
Yeah.
This was very good.
That's what I said with Jay. He's really short. Go to the strip.
That's what I was going to say. They probably want to head for the bigger casinos.
I stay in touch with the mentees that I've had. So I chose not to have one this year because I'm not sure if I'm going to finish the whole year. I'm not sure what I'm going to do.
Oh, you're thinking about
It's in the horizon.
moving to Greece?
Yeah, who knows?
Am I able to practice?
Well, of course, I don't have a card to give you.
I've been practicing with all this.
She's
just giving me some.
I don't have a card.
You've been passing it around. She
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure.
Nice meeting you.
Here you go.
Well, and I'm still going to cover a few things on a few body language items, and then
Thank you so much for your time.
send them on their way.
Thank you. Thank you for recording and helping out with everything.
I say that.
Keep that for someone who might hire.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Melissa's.
My name is Henry. It's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for helping with everything. Give it business time.
I always tell, don't be afraid to put a little squeeze in. You should shake her hand. Oh, yeah, you should shake her hand because that's a woman that'll show you how to shake a hand.
Be here for this, right?
That's kind of like my one little pet peeve. I like to
Are you able to sign a card?
give a little.
Sign what?
Are you able to sign the new card? Just so
Oh, we have a new card?
Good. Okay, that is a good one. So would you say, is it one? Do you do the three things? Or what's
It's
your
just-
stance?
it's based upon
Okay.
person.
Okay.
So no more than that.
Okay, perfect.
So no
That
more than
sounds like
three.
the three things.
Yes.
Okay,
No
no
more-
more than three
Yes.
max. Okay. Okay, would you like my business?
Absolutely, I would. And may I give you mine?
I would absolutely love to.
And this is part of the, when you were asking the question a moment ago, that's part of it. And may I give you mine?
Okay.
And so it's not, here's mine.
Take my card.
Right.
Okay, got it.
So I did start.
You did.
And if I may,
Do you guys spend a lot of time together as a group? I mean, do you take all the same classes together? Or because I was just mentioning that this is a really good group. You guys seem really comfortable with one
we'll take
another.
more questions then.
Oh, I will.
I've only done this a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do I need to take it? Yeah.
Well, it's nice meeting you.
As we open the door.
Thank you.
All right, if I could ask everyone to sit back down for just a brief moment before we send you off.
We build a lot of trust with each other and also build that confidence, right?
Okay, never mind. Sorry. That's on me.
Yeah.
Where do you get that validated?
And the food. Of course.
Okay. Thank you.
Before we get started, does anybody need validation for parking? Because Diana's got little tickets she can give you.
good?
Everybody else is good?
Do we need, how long?
I validate you, you're good.
Oh, yeah, I just didn't know if there was a time or how that.
Good for 24 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Have fun. Thank you.
And then Chris probably needs one as well, but
Oh,
he
okay.
stepped out.
We can just leave it too.
Yeah.
I have the whole book right here.
Let's just scan the original and the back.
Okay.
It's real.
Thank you.
Well, before we lose our fabulous service staff, I think we should give them a rounding applause. Fabulous as always. We thank you. Always look forward to seeing you. You do an impeccable job, and to Diana as well. So thank you, and of course, Ken. Thank you for everything. All right, now let's talk about those handshakes. When you offer your hand, number one, it's gender free. So how you shake a man's hand is how you shake a woman's hand, no difference. As you offer your hand with the palm facing sideways. And this says, I think of you as my equal. If you offer your hand this way with the palm facing downward, that's a signal of superiority. This is someone who feels superior to others. Now, you don't correct them, you don't say anything, but you can certainly make a mental note when someone gives you their hand this way, that they might be a bit of a problem, who knows, or they might have an extra large ego. So offer your hand this way, and as you're shaking, it's just a quick 1, 2, 3, that's it. You're not going to hang on any longer than that, and also do not apologize for your hand. If your palm is sweaty, if your hand happens to be cold, you make no reference to it at all. No one's noticing or worrying about it until you mention it. So don't bother with drawing attention to that. Also, no double handshakes. So it's strictly this. If you put the left hand on top of the right hand, then that's a handshake of familiarity where it could be taken the wrong way. It also could be a handshake of I'm trying to overpower you. So it could be a power play by some people who want to express their dominance, and actually some people consider the double handshake as flirtatious. So strictly this handshake. Now, if you're with family and friends, and I know that there are even some people from the religious sector, some ministers and so forth, who give the double handshake. That's a whole different thing. I'm talking the business world. All right, so as you presented your business card, so first of all, you don't say, here's my card, or I'm going to give you my card. It is more of the, oh, and may I give you my card? So it's the permission you're getting from them for you to give them your card. It's not as though, here, and you toss it to them. So first you do the 10-second self-introduction, you're shaking hands, then you give your card. So it's in that order. You don't want to give your card before you've actually had the introduction. With your body language, as you were shaking hands with each other, did you make eye contact? Were you listening to what they told you? If you had to repeat what they said to you, could you do that? Because a lot of people are more worried about what they're going to say next, so they're not really hearing what the person is saying to them. So you want to be in the moment, really listening, really paying attention, so that you can respond to any comment that they might have made. Questions on the handshake? Questions on giving your business cards?
Would you say there's an appropriate time? Is it like first introduction if you were going out to eat? Would I exchange it at the beginning of the meal? Or is like a business card an after meal thing? Or is it just played out in conversation as like the host would offer? Or would I take it upon myself as a guest to offer?
Typically when there is food, business cards are not presented until the conclusion, until everything is over, because you don't want to mix paperwork with food on the table. So you would wait. But if the host happens to give you their card right away, even though there's food, go ahead and give yours then too. When you're in a business meeting, no food, you give your business card right away. You don't wait until afterwards. So any more questions on that ever so important first impression? All right, well, something to remember, you communicate with your body language in over 700,000 different ways. So just grab that number, digest it for a moment, and realize that when people size you up, they are analyzing you and your body language first, even while you're talking. So they hear your words, but the words are not as important initially as your body language. So do you come across with confidence? Do you have that good posture? Are you making that good eye contact? Do you smile? So are you looking approachable? You do not have to smile all of the time, but you do want to smile often enough that people feel welcomed by you and feel comfortable by you. So keep in mind, when you walk in, they're even noticing how fast you're walking. Now, I'm not suggesting you speed in, but if you're just kind of lumbering along and you're not moving with purpose, you don't come across quite the same way as someone who is walking with that confidence and with that head held high and is making great eye contact. Good eye contact, however, is not a staring contest. So you do want to blink. There are some people who forget to blink and then it becomes a please blink. You're beginning to scare me here. So make sure that you do blink often enough, but then don't blink so much because then people may think you're flirting with them. So be careful with that as well. But your body language is out there and it is something that is going to absolutely say a lot about you. So do you look comfortable? Do you look confident? Do you look like you're glad to be here? And also it says a lot about how you feel in that moment. So watch your body language. You may want to even pick up a book on body language. In the collegiate book I've given you, there are a variety of things you can read that will have any number of little tips for you, even including dress. The most important thing is not how expensive your outfit is, it's just making the right choice. So after people look at your body language, then they look at how you're dressed. And where do people pay attention to your grooming and your detail to your dress the most? Your hands and your feet. So clean, well-groomed shoes and clean, well-groomed hands, buffed nails, that sort of thing. Very, very important. You can't hide your hands. You can't sit on them. Well, you could, but that would be rather awkward. So make sure that you do look the part. I know in Las Vegas, yesterday I was wearing a pink and white turquoise suit, and I got so many compliments. And I thought, gosh, I'd like to wear more color, but I rarely wear a lot of color because I wear mostly what I'm wearing now, black and white. And this is very much a city of dark suits, and they're very professional, but you get to wardrobe and mix them up a little bit. You certainly have opportunities to always look the part. And so remember, you never want what you're wearing to be a distraction to what you're saying. So you don't want what you're wearing to ever come across as, oh, I'm paying more attention to this or that compared to hearing what that person is actually telling me about themselves. All right, any questions about dress or more on body language or anything else we've covered today?
So hypothetically speaking, if we're sitting at this table right now and like this jacket's a little too hot for me, is it appropriate to take off the jacket and like would I put it on a chair? Would I put it on my lap? Like where would that go? Or would I just keep the jacket on?
You are just going to keep that jacket on and stay hot.
Right. Okay.
Sorry. And I'm so glad you asked this because men do this a lot. Men are very prone to taking off their jackets, and that's a big no-no. Never take off a jacket as part of the outfit. So, yes, I'm glad you asked that.
Don't undress at the table.
Yes, do not undress at the table.
When it comes to taking notes, is that like, would you consider that acceptable? Especially, and then also digitally, is that acceptable? Or would you really recommend if I'm going to take notes on anything, like especially take pen and paper?
Again, knowing your audience, there are going to be some people who would prefer that you take it with pen and paper than actually digitally or on a computer because they're not really sure what you're doing if they can't see your screen. And it also can be more obtrusive. So like even on a phone. If I need to take notes on a phone, I tell the person what I'm doing. But I always carry pencils, my pens, paper with me. I prefer that. That's my preference. Taking notes actually validates people. When you're in a meeting and someone sees you taking notes, as I saw you both taking them today, that's very validating because it says I've said something that matters to you that you want to remember. So whenever you take notes, that's always a good thing.
So one more thing with the jackets, with the men, usually you're standing, you have the top one button. When you sit, you can unbutton that one. Right? So,
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
That's important. Yes, you can. In fact, when you're seated, it is preferred that you do unbutton it because it's going to be more comfortable and it's also going to be better on the material of your jacket too, rather than stressing it out. So yes, for the men, you can definitely unbutton that button. White shirt remains the most powerful shirt for men. So if you think of a power meeting, but also this is a very high fashion city. Usually when you start getting to know people and maybe it's on your second, third, fourth interview, then you can start being more colorful and very fashionable like Christopher over here today. And so definitely show your versatility and your personality as you go along, but there are certain things that you start out a little more formal, then you can become more casual as those interviews progress. This book, The Many Manners, is just fun. It has everything from weddings, funerals, gym etiquette, pleases and thank yous, and I hope you catch my humor in it because it was designed not to be a should you do this book, but as hey, let's all be mindful of what we need to be aware of. So I do hope you enjoy that. And again, feel free to reach out to me at any time if I can assist you on your journeys. I'm going to close by showing you how to give a toast. And yes, I can give a toast with water. I know some people consider it superstitious. I don't, so I'm okay. And the way to give a toast, and this is if you're at a friend's wedding, wherever you may need to give a toast. And I promise you, this is one of the most requested topics I'm asked to cover in my training programs here in Vegas. Please teach our people how to give a toast because we want them toasting their guest as we're getting their business. So the way you give a toast, I'm going to toast you, which means you don't pick up your glasses until I'm finished toasting you. If you were to hold your glasses up while I toast you and say my few words about you, that means you're applauding yourself. So the reason for that is a lot of people, you're going to see them applauding themselves because they raise their glasses right away. But after I finish, then you raise your glass and you can return with a thank you or cheers or clink, whatever you want to do. But a correct toast is glasses held my eye level. And I can do it standing or seated. Standing is preferred if you're in the right room environment. And I'm only going to say a few words. So a good toast is brief, it's to the point. I'm not big on buying the books that tell you all the little things you can say to give a toast. Those are fine, but they sound so scripted and people have heard them many times before. So I think the toast that is going to really work the best and mean the most is when people know it comes from you. You really were intentional about what you were saying. So here is my toast to you today. I want to say you are an exceptional group. Your questions were just fabulous. Everyone benefited from hearing what everyone else had to say and the questions that were asked. I have full confidence that the world going forward is in good hands. And I hope that I have passed a little bit of my wisdom onto you to help you navigate the world you're entering. Cheers to you. Now I drink. Toast is sealed. So once I sip, I have sealed the toast. So as I raise the glass, I say my few words, outstretch my arm, bring it in, sip, then it's done. By the way, clinking, that has to do with not being poisoned. So that's how clinking started back in the Middle Ages. That there would be one big chalice and everybody else would have small little glasses around them of wine or what have you. But the main person, often the king, who would worry about being poisoned, he would say his few words and drink, and then he would pour some into yours. Then you would say a few words and you would go around the table and everyone had some of his wine in their glasses. So if you're poisoning me, I'm poisoning you. So that's how the clinking started, because I would clink and clink as you would clink the next person as you pour it into theirs. That's how the clinking started. So yes, you can still clink, but it's nice to know how that started. Didn't I tell you? Common sense. None of us want to be poisoned. All right, so thank you again, and I'll turn it back over to Melissa, Christopher, for your final words.
No, just wanted to thank everyone. Everyone's suits look great, by the way. Thank you all. Yeah, that's really it. Just wanted to say how great you all look. Thank you for making so much time this summer for coming out with us at these times.
Deborah, thank you so much for being here and imparting your wisdom on us. I enjoy it every single year. Ken, this place is absolutely one of the best experiences of the entire year and what your staff does for us. So to you both, I just want to say thank you.
And we have your menu's invitation. Summer's delivering.
As well. Thank you.
Sorry, I'll give it to student.
We can clink. I just want to
All
make sure
right, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.